No one in the hobby is responsible for more significant finds than Al Rosen. Mr. Alan Rosen, that is. In the past 20 years, Mr. Mint has uncovered and made available to the collector more Mint vintage cards and collectibles than any other dealer out there around the planet. Sports Illustrated says Mr. Mint, Alan Rosen, is the king of cards, the Duke of Dough in the high-stakes baseball card game, the nation's premier card maven, that is. I want to welcome to the show my very special guest this evening, Mr. Alan Rosen, Mr. Mint.
Hey, Doc.
How we doing, Mr.
What's
Mint?
going on?
All right. I want to welcome you to the show tonight. I know.
Nice hair.
It's been I just got it cut. It's been a highly anticipated show. We've gotten thousands of emails. You know, we know you've got a lot of great stories. You've been on all the major news networks. You've been pretty much everywhere. You know, we see your face in the Beckett. We see your face all over the internet. But not everybody gets a chance to really listen, see, and really get the feeling what you've really done for the hobby, because there's not a lot of guys who, you know, wake up in the morning, get the adrenaline going for that big search that might be out there. You've been doing it a long time, man. What got you into this thing?
I went to a baseball card convention in 1976, and as you know, you have cards here in our own holders, and I went to this show, and it was cards, but no on round tables.
Okay.
But no cards and holders. They were just laying there, thrown on a table.
On round tables.
On round
This
tables.
was back in '76.
With no covering on the table, just laying there.
Is that right?
And the mantle table was $3. So I wiped it out. I took every mantle.
Any Mickey mantle.
Not because they're worth money. That was my childhood. That's why people buy this stuff.
You were a big mantle guy.
Because they recapture a piece of their youth.
Sure.
By buying mantles. So I bought all the mantles, and then I collected all the show. Well, there weren't many shows.
So you weren't really a dealer at that point.
No, I was a collector.
Was a hobby.
And I went around. Then I refined my search to only near mint to mint. That's how I got my nickname. And I started as a collector. I started piecing sets and building sets together. Mm-hmm. And I was pushing copy machines around the street for 20 years. And that knock on the door and that slam on the door, that rejection is not good. I hate rejection.
You gotta have thick skin.
Yes, you do.
Like the Doc.
The Doc has thick hair.
Yeah.
I don't know about
I've got
skin.
pretty hair, yeah.
Hair doesn't grow in a busy street.
Easy.
Yeah, at least I got some.
At any rate, getting back seriousness, you know, how many people out there really, think about this, how many people in the morning when they wake up, they want to go to work? Not many. Not many. Well, if I was sitting here playing Doc with that hair, and sunglasses, I'd want to go to work too. No, seriously.
Listen, my hairdresser pays me to do my hair.
Going on a treasure hunt, or the chase and the hunt, is so exciting to me. Now, I remember coming down here a couple of years ago, and I was looking at some cards, and the ride down here, the hour and a half, was very pleasurable to me, because I was going to see something that maybe I've never seen before.
Right.
How many does he have? What condition they're in?
Right.
It's the most exciting business, I guess. If you enjoy cards and you enjoy the game of baseball, it's the most exciting business you can be in.
You know, and it still goes on today. You know, people are at the flea markets, people are at card shows, people, garage sales. You never know what you might come across, you know?
Well, it's, once again, you're sitting at a convention like I do, all over the country, but I just went to Las Vegas and did a dog and pony show with Pete Rose, and people were online, maybe a couple of hundred people, and the same thing with Yogi Berra Museum. I'm their appraiser, and people stand online with bags and boxes, and they come up and they put it on the table. Nothing more exciting than someone picking up the top of a box or opening up a bag and me imagining what's in there. Sometimes you're disappointed. A lot of times you're disappointed. I was in Las Vegas 3 months ago, and a lady came up and she had the book, the funeral book of Joe Jackson.
Is that right?
Signed by 19 Black Sox scandal players, plus other dignitaries. Had a picture of Jackson in the front, and just a beautiful book. And you never know what you're going to get.
Was the adrenaline getting going there?
Yeah, for $25,000, she laughed at my face. $25,000, ma'am. Nah, she just laughed at me.
That's interesting. Now, you talked about the name Mr. Mint. So early on, you recognized that getting cards that were in good shape was going to be important down the road. Because there's actually a lot of stuff out there. It's just not all in...
Oh, it's like, real estate's location, location, location. Sure. And our business is condition, condition, condition. I came from a coin background, so I know, I knew coins, and uncirculated coins are worth a lot of money, and the circulated coins are worth much less. So I went for the uncirculated cards. And they were much easier, obviously, to obtain, in the 70s and 80s and early 90s than now.
We try to stress to a lot of the younger collectors, even with the new stuff. Now, I know you do, like, 1869 to 1969.
That's very observant.
But when it's quite obvious. But, we've got some, younger collectors like Ty that's here tonight. He's 10 years old. We try to tell him, hey, you get a good card out of a pack, put it in the plastic and in the sleeve right away so it stays good. You drop it and you ding a corner. You just took a card that might have been a $100 card, and that's worthless.
Well, it's not worthless.
Well, you know what I mean.
Much less.
So we try to tell people it's important how you take care of your cards. Don't put rubber bands around them. Don't put them in the spokes of your wheels like a lot of us used to do when we were kids. Of course, some people still put the Red Sox ones. I don't know.
I would put Red Sox ones in there too.
So, but obviously, if you were a Mick fan, you were a Yankee fan, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
All my life, I've been a Yankee fan.
Now, some of the large finds, we're glad that you're here because there's a lot of young people out there watching tonight, and we want to let them get that same feeling that you felt over the last 20, 30 years. If they're real hobbyists, more than just collecting on the internet and trading, get to your local show, go to your local hobby store, look around. There might be a hidden treasure somewhere in that shop or somewhere at that show that you might be able to land, and you benefit from it.
Laundromats and shopping stores on the bulletin boards are a very good way. That's how I did it. Excuse me. At first,
is that right?
Yes, I did. I put little cards.
Okay.
On the
like when you go in and you see somebody selling a card about
bought a lot of collections
like
an
automobile, and they got the little things you pull the number
Absolutely. Bought a lot of collections like that. And then
cool.
through the advertising, my name got out there, and I made a lot of good. I call them warehouse finds or basement finds that came my way. One of those was the 1952 Topps high number case that I uncovered in Lowell, Mass. And that contained 5,500 cards, including 75 Mickey Mantle rookies.
That's the 52 Mantle.
That's the 1952 Mantle. At the time, they were 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 apiece, just the Mantles.
And what year was that you found?
That was in 1986.
And why don't you tell us what happened there?
Okay, I walk in. Well, the week before, he called me and told me that his father worked for a company named Graco, which made kids products, a bat and a ball, a glove, and in a packaged product.
Back in the
50s.
50s?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this company apparently bought this case from Topps, and on the advertising of the glove and the ball and all the boxes they had, there was 8 different products. Hey kids, with every Graco product, get 3 Topps shiny baseball cards.
Oh, cool.
Because Topps was the first company to put the coating on the cards to make them shiny. And he called me and told me that he had 1 to 3 of every card from 1952. And I said, 1 to 3? I started adding it up. I says, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So he said, well, how much would you pay me? And I gave him a percentage, price. Right. That was on a Monday. He called me back on Tuesday. He said he had 7 to 10 of every card.
Wow.
I says, this has to be a scam. I mean, I've never seen, 1/10 of that. And I had been in business already for 10 years.
Right.
So I hired a policeman from my town. And he went up with me on the Saturday. But Friday night, the guy calls me.
Now, how did he know to call you to begin with?
Advertisements.
Okay.
Advertisements.
So advertising pays.
Advertising, as an old friend told me, advertising doesn't cost. It pays.
Right.
Friday night, the man calls me. He tells me he has 30 to 50 of every card.
Oh, so now you're really...
I said, this is nuts. Yeah. So I went over to a friend's house, and I borrowed some more cash. I went up there with $150,000 in my pocket. Cash.
No playing games.
No Bank America card, no MasterCard. Walked into the guy's house.
Cash. Got all. You had it. The cabbage, the green stuff.
Green. Kind you like.
Yeah, absolutely, baby. That's it.
Went up there.
I collect dead presidents. Even the guys that weren't presidents, like Franklin and them, I collect them too.
I go up there, and
what's so funny?
He lives in it. It's funny to be loose and
Hey, he's calling me loose. That's the biggest compliment I ever had. I used to date a girl that was a little... Go ahead. So
okay, so I go up there. It's a house.
You got 150 G's in your pocket.
The house is built in 1870, maybe.
Oh.
And he walks in. We walk in the dining room, and the dining room, the floor was just one huge floor with little pieces of wood all made together in a sunburst, and the whole side of the room was leaded stained glass with paneling.
Wow.
And I'll never forget this as long as I live. He has these low-cut jeans on, and he opens up these doors and bends over.
Is he like a farmer, this guy?
Yeah. Right. And he has a plumber's crack going on.
Right.
And he pulls this tray, a silver tray.
Silver platter.
A platter.
Mod on.
And he puts it in front of me. And I remember having to go lift up to see the top. They were face down.
You got to be kidding me.
And I looked like this to see the top of what number he had on the top of the stack. And it happened to be 305, George Metkovich.
Oh.
So I took 305 and 306 and 309. I got down to 311, Mickey.
Yeah.
I wound up with 75 of those babies.
Wow.
And my hands were shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like going on a pirate ship and discovering, boxes of gold.
Yeah.
So
like the balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took the cards outside. I sniffed them.
Yeah. Smell the gum?
I just was so unsure of spending all that money. And that's all the money plus borrowed money.
You didn't want to get any fugazis.
I did, right.
Bogus.
I didn't know if they were real or not.
Yeah.
Then he says, he says, are you doubting the authenticity of these? Oh, I says, 75 of every card from 1952. I mean, they're beautiful. They're right out of packs. He says, well, the rest of the case is in the kitchen. I said, no. You have more of these? He's the non-mint ones. They're in the kitchen. I go in the kitchen, and there's the original case. Couldn't believe it.
Is that right?
I could hardly even compose myself.
Now those 52 cards, they were never wax packed. They were individually sold to Graco from Topps.
I still own the case, and I think what happened is the case says 24 boxes, 6 cards. Now, 24 boxes to me could either be wax, could be solo, right? And 6 cards, and it says 5 cents.
Right.
So that means that there were nickel packs of something.
Right.
With 6 cards in a pack. When I got the case configured to be 12,000 cards.
Wow.
Or thereabouts. I only got 5,500 because actually half that case. But nothing in the face of the earth, nothing ever made is worth more per card than that case of cards.
Sure.
Not a stock, not a bond, not a house, not a car, nothing.
All things being relative.
Right. That case cost the wholesaler approximately $12.60. And today, if you
go back in time,
$18 million that case is worth.
$18 million.
It's 12 inches. It's 12 inches.
Are you kids listening? Get up in the attic. Get under your grandparents' bed. Look around. There's got to be something laying around.
12 inches long. 8 inches wide, 6 inches deep. Wow. $18 million. Name me one thing that cost $12 in 1952 that's worth $18 million today. You can't. Name me something that's less than a penny, because 6 cards for a penny. I mean, the six cards for a nickel.
That's amazing.
Name me something that was less than a penny in 1952. And like a mantle, I mean, if you had a mint mantle nowadays, you could get 50 to 100,000 for a penny.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So you're basically responsible. Some of those really nice graded mantles that you see out there today.
Well, there's 3 10s.
Those are,
and they all belonged to me at one time.
One time.
Yeah.
Did you have them graded, or what? You sold them and then
no, that was before grading. That was 1986.
Okay, yeah.
I wish I had them. I wish I had them to grade.
Yeah, but who knew back then?
Then I'd have your kind of money.
Well, maybe, it's point. So that was is that the biggest find ever? Is that documented that we know of?
Yeah. Christie's called that the greatest discovery of baseball cards ever. Mm-hmm. From that publicity, I went on the next year and I made the Paris, Tennessee find, which was 52s, 3s, and 4s Bowmans. There was 285 unopened wax boxes, 5-cent wax boxes.
And what was the scoop there? Why were they there?
It was a candy wholesaler.
Okay.
And if you're out there, Johnny, from Paris, and you're listening, I'm sorry. It was an older gentleman that worked at the it was a cigarette and candy wholesaler.
Okay.
And when the old man died, the wife sold the building and told one of the salesmen, John, to clean out and get rid of all the product. They had bobby pins, they had toothpaste powder, they had just all these what is it called? Dry goods.
Right.
They had dry goods all over the place. And he met up with 2 young men who bilked them out of these cards for $200.
Wow.
And when I got there, they were in the hands of these 2 young men who sold me the deal for $245,000.
Wow.
I was sitting in a hotel room in Paris, Tennessee, next to the bank, and every day I'd wire $100,000. I was sleeping on a cot in the Paris, Tennessee Inn. Oh, God. And every day someone with Paris, Tennessee would come over to the hotel and had gotten something from that place. Either football cards or, how all the inserts they had back then, the tattoos and all those sort of things. I was there for 9 days in Paris, Tennessee buying stuff. Before I went, I didn't have any money. I was broke. I was out.
You were tapped.
Yep. Yeah, they turned me upside down, took all the quarters, nickels, and dimes, and I had to drive home.
But who else would be able to do that? You're the man back then, man.
They called another dealer. Mm-hmm. The time was a major dealer. Mm-hmm. And they called me on a Friday at 5 o'clock. And on Saturday morning, I was in Paris, Tennessee. I drove all night to get there.
Right.
And the other dealer called on Sunday afternoon when he got the message. And, and the 2 gentlemen, or 2 young fellas, said, I'm sorry, but Mr. Rosen has been here already, and he's bought the cards.
So to teach a lot of you prospective wheelers and dealers out there, you snooze, you lose, baby. You get the call, hop on it. I don't care how far away it is. You never know what you're going to find. Sometimes you might get a call. Somebody says they got some cards. You wind up getting there, and it's like 1988 tops. Other times you might get there, you might find a box of 62 tops. So you just never know.
But when you get the call, you have to go.
You got
immediately.
Yeah.
You could be eating, you could be sleeping. Yeah. When that phone rings, I don't care what time it is, I pick it up.
You got to beat the next guy to the
Never know when the next big deal comes.
So those are a couple of the real big ones. What's probably the most interesting one or unique one? Or you've had so many.
If your viewers and listeners out there are familiar with the Leaf product, 4849 Leaf,
sure, yeah.
I had a gentleman in Tampa who walked into a baseball card store from my good friend Orv Johansson about, 1988. That's almost 20 years ago. Walked in there and he had 9 unopened boxes of Leaf, the rare numbers.
Yeah.
The 49 short prints, which have the Satchel Paige and the Bob Feller, and each of those cards are worth, at the time, maybe $700 a piece.
Wow.
He had a book of 1,100 cards that he opened up, and then he had, I think it was 8 or 9 unopened boxes. Now, my luck, of course, I opened up one whole box of packs, and I didn't get the Feller, nor the Page. So I decided that I shouldn't open up anymore, and I sold them as packs, and there were 9 cards to a pack. 9 cards to a pack. I sold the packs for $3,000 a pack. I didn't have them in stock maybe a week. and they were gone. And then as soon as everyone, at that time there was no grading of unopened packs, and who cared? You had the cards, you opened them up to see what's in the pack, just like you guys do, busting packs. And I opened them all, and I made.
It's hard to resist.
It is. I can't. I have to see what's in the pack. If I have them at home, I'm going to open them. That's why I never bring anything to my office anymore. I always bring it home, put it in the safe, because if I look at it, I open it. If I was let loose in this store, there wouldn't be a pack left opened.
Hey, let them loose.
So I bought the deal, after all the smoke cleared and people in the hobby saw the quality of the cards, because no one had seen Leafs in that I mean, they were. I'll tell you,
tough find to begin
there were
with.
9 packs, 9 cards in a pack, and every pack, when you opened it, you had to twist it to the side, and the gum at that time was square, the same size as the card, and the gum would go. Several of the packs I had to put in the refrigerator. If you get gum stuck on a card, you put it in the freezer for about a minute or two, and then you just twist them. And the first card, the bottom card, was always damaged. They always had gum damage on them. But I had 8 mint cards in every pack.
Nice.
Roots, Williams. Amazing.
It's a nice set, too. Make some nice stuff back.
Yeah.